This is Cam from Epic Conversions. Hope you're doing well. And I just thought I'd do this quick live stream here and talk to you a little bit about what was on my mind today in business. Um, again, Cam from epicconversions.com. And before I even get into this, I want to talk about this Netflix acquisition. Um, and I want to talk about this Netflix acquisition and kind of like how it kind of like how I see it, from like a kind of kitchen table entrepreneur standpoint, like kind of like what I take away from it. And it's so funny because I actually wrote this down that I wanted to talk about this acquisition like a week ago. And it's been kind of like pinging around the back of my mind for like a week now about this Netflix acquisition. And I I have things I want to say about it, but I just find it interesting. I find it a very interesting subject, and I thought I'd just reflect with you a little bit on it today. Again, I'm Cam from Epic Conversions, and I only have one product on the market right now. So if you're interested, if you watch this today and you're interested in what I have going on, what I'm doing, you can go to epicconversions.com. You can get on my email list there. Or you can like go to epicconversions.com and you'll see a link down at the bottom for Epic Conversions Monthly. That is my monthly paid newsletter. And there's a lot that goes on in Epic Conversions Monthly. It's actually three clubs in one, really. It's like you got the paid newsletter, which comes out every month, and then you got we do a group coaching call in there every single month also. And then also I do a weekly audio feed, which is basically like a podcast, but I call it an audio newsletter, but it's called Voicemail and it comes out weekly. In fact, a new issue just dropped today. And that issue is funny because it was all about my like, and you wouldn't know this if you're just now tuning in and you don't know who I am or anything about me. I'll just say that I've been on this kind of profound weight loss journey over the last 6 months or so. 6 months ago I was 278 pounds. Now I'm down to 222 pounds, and my goal is to get down to 190 pounds. But anyways, I've learned a lot about like myself, about weight loss, and a lot of those lessons actually apply to small business. One of the mysteries that I solved in that like kind of journey that I've been on is like this mystery I had because for years uh I was like kind of like investing money in like weight loss programs and like you ever hear of Noom? I invested in Noom. DDP yoga, T25, Beachbody, like all this different stuff, man. Atkins diet, uh China study, like I've invested in so many different like weight loss diet lifestyle deals or whatever over the years. And one thing that I found that was kind of like it was maddening to me was like I didn't understand why I was able to achieve some success for myself in business, but I wasn't able to achieve any success with weight loss. Every single time that I tried something new with weight loss, I failed. Like I would do it for a little while, then I'd give up. I'd do it for a little while, then I'd give up. And it sucked, man, because I would invest all this money and everything in it, and man, it was demoralizing. That's what happens, the more you fail at something, it becomes very demoralizing. You kind of start to really, your confidence takes a hit. You start to feel really just kind of like bad about the situation. Um, so yeah, obviously the last 6 months I've lost quite a bit of weight. I'm not done yet. I still got more to lose, but a lot of those lessons I've learned these past 6 months, they apply directly to business. If you're having trouble with your business, a lot of the stuff I talk about in that audio newsletter, it applies. This is Voicemail is the name of my audio newsletter. It's Voicemail. This is Voicemail 2026 issue 6. And it's called the 190 project. And that's what it's all about, is just, lessons and just kind of realizations I came to when it came to like my weight loss and how it applied to my business. Now that's a complete side note, but I just wanted to tell you about that because I'm always on these live streams promoting Epic Conversions Monthly, but I don't really talk about the kind of stuff that's in there very much. So as I do more of these live streams, I will try to talk to you more about what's in Epic Conversions Monthly, but it's really cool. It's a good program. It comes with a crazy, crazy, crazy premium, man. Epic Conversions Monthly. I've never put a premium in place like I have for Epic Conversions Monthly. Like when you sign up for Epic Conversions Monthly, it's so front loaded with bonuses. It's crazy. Like I literally put over $1,000 worth of bonuses in there, so it's good. It's a really good. It's a good. I don't know how long I'm going to leave that bonus on there, but if you're interested in that, it's epicconversions.com. Scroll down, Epic Conversions Monthly, you'll find it. Anyways, enough about Epic Conversions and Epic Conversions Monthly. I wanted to reflect with you on Netflix and their acquisition. So, um, let me. I kind of printed out this kind of overview of the timeline of events, how I see it. So I thought I would just walk through this timeline with you, and I'd kind of just talk to you about it as we go and share my thoughts with you. Kind of like we'll go through it together, and I'll kind of react to it as I go. It's been on my mind a lot. I've been thinking a lot about it. I think it's interesting. Um, so, okay, here's how it looks, right? On December 5th, 2025, Netflix announced a definitive agreement to acquire Warner Brothers, right? And HBO Max in a deal valued at approximately $82 billion, right? This marks a major shift toward media consolidation. Okay. The deal includes Warner Brothers Film, TV Studios, DC Studios. Yes, that includes the comic books as well. That means Netflix is going to be the owner of DC Comics. That means Netflix is going to be the owner of Superman and Superman and Wonder Woman and Aquaman and Batman. Freaking Netflix is going to own Batman and Superman. Crazy. Um, Warner Brothers Games. Now this deal, it excludes cable assets like CNN. I'll get more into that going into this, but anyways, the acquisition expected to close in 2026 this year. Okay, so it's in the middle of regulatory approval, right? And the reason why it's in the middle of regulatory approval is because it's gonna give them market dominance in this online streaming space. So here's some details, right? Netflix aiming to enhance its library, purchasing Warner Brothers Discovery Studios, streaming business for 72 billion in equity and debt. Now it's I think it's closer to 82 billion, not 72 billion. But assets include DC Studios, that's Batman, Superman, Harry Potter, freaking Harry Potter, man. Um Game of Thrones, because this is going to include HBO, right? HBO Max, Game of Thrones, The Sopranos. Netflix is going to own The Sopranos. It's crazy. Mortal Kombat, right? WB Games, that includes Mortal Kombat. So the deal is facing scrutiny, right, from U.S. Senate and Department of Justice, DOJ, right, regarding antitrust concerns. Potential price hikes and reduction in industry competition, right? So the fear is the less competition there is in the streaming service market, they can run a monopoly on streaming and they can jack the prices way up. It could be like $100 a month, whatever they want. If they got no competition, the prices are going to go crazy high, right? So anyways, it's funny because this merger, there was some competition. Paramount Global was a competitor, and they actually offered more money than Netflix to begin with. But that deal got sideswiped. I mean, this is brutal. This is brutal acquisition right here. It's crazy. So Netflix is buying a studio, but Warner Brothers, they plan to. They're going to split off part of it, right? Like CNN, Discovery, TNT, TBS, HGTV. These are going to be a spin-off product. So Warner Brothers is going to maintain that. It's going to be a new company called Discovery Global, right? So they're going to maintain. So Warner Brothers, Warner Brothers being sold, but some of their assets they're going to keep, and that's going to become Discovery Global, right? Smaller company, obviously smaller company. Purchase terms, originally a mix of cash and stock. Netflix amended the offer on January 20th, 2026 to an all-cash deal at $27.75 per share. They did this to expedite process and provide greater certainty to shareholders. And I think they did it to, they did it to, why did they try to expedite the process? Because they didn't want Paramount to come back and make a counter offer, right? They wanted to expedite the process. That's my belief on that. They didn't want Paramount to come back and do the counter offer. They're trying to get this thing done. Okay. Projected timeline, deal expected to close within 12 to 18 months, likely following the mid 2026 separation of Discovery Global. Okay. So the deal followed a fierce competition involving Comcast and Paramount Skydance. Even after WBD's board recommended Netflix offer, Paramount launched a hostile $108.4 billion all-cash bid for the entire company. Despite the high dollar value, WBD board has repeatedly rejected Paramount's offer, citing concerns over Paramount's heavy debt load and numerous risks. Okay. So this is all pretty interesting. Antitrust scrutiny, lawmakers, industry groups like Writers Guild of America have called to block the merger, warning it could raise consumer prices and eliminate jobs. Congressional hearing on February 3rd. This is just a couple days ago, guys. This is playing out in real time right now. This is happening, okay? Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos testified before a U.S. Senate subcommittee. While intended to focus on antitrust, the hearing notably included Republican questioning regarding woke content on the platform. Now, I watched this hearing, and it was interesting because Sarandos said, man, we are not political whatsoever. We got all kinds of different content on our platform, not just like what you're talking about, okay? Man, he grilled him on transgender, affirming content on the platform. It was crazy. And of course, Sarandos denied it all. He denied it all. He said, no, we have all kinds of different content on the platform. We don't adhere to any one group. We put all these controls in place so parents can really, really have a lot of control over what their kids can see and stuff like that. I mean, it was funny, man. I mean, anyone who ever has spent any time on Netflix knows, man, this platform is extremely woke. I mean, they are so woke. It's almost sickening. They're so woke. But of course, deny at the Senate hearing, which is fine. Whatever. I don't really care. I mean, I have a subscription to Netflix right now. My son wanted to watch Stranger Things season 5, so we got a subscription to Netflix again. I've had it before and I've canceled it because of their optics, their woke optics that annoy me. But yeah, we go in and out of Netflix. We come in and out of it. But anyways, theatrical concerns. To ease industry fears, Netflix pledged a 45-day theatrical window for Warner Brothers films, a shift from its typical streaming-first model. A 45-day theatrical window for Warner Brothers films, meaning that when one of these Warner Brothers property films come out, it's going to be in a theater for 45 days, bare minimum, before it hits the Netflix platform, right? Who knows how long that'll last? I wonder how long that's going to last. I'm telling you, man, when these acquisitions happen, things are like something for a minute, and then they change. They change rapidly. You can look at when Disney acquired Star Wars. I mean, Disney acquired Star Wars and with this understanding that they were going to really adhere to George Lucas's vision and they were going to do things his way. And very, very quickly, that all got thrown out the window. So, I mean, I have my doubts that Netflix is going to wait 45 days for these Warner Bros. Movies before they hit Netflix. I have my doubts. I mean, who knows? I mean, who knows for sure? But I mean, think about it. I mean, that's only probably gonna be for, like, in production movies right now that were meant for theater. That's not gonna include future movie deals done, because when they do future movie deals, it's probably gonna be in the contract that, "Hey, we're gonna stream the same day it's released." Who knows? Or they're gonna do, like, a one-day movie release and then go streaming. Who knows, you know? But I see, like, probably just gonna be for, like, existing properties. Um Combining the libraries of Netflix and Warner Bros. Would create massive content hub, uniting modern streaming hits with a century of cinematic history. And Warner Brothers, it's a 100-year-old company. They got tons of movies. Okay. If the deal closes, Netflix will control nearly 40% of the world's most watched premium content. All right. Crazy. Crazy, man. So think about this, right? Existing Netflix libraries, flagship franchises, Stranger Things, Squid Game, Bridgerton, The Witcher. Okay. Even though, like, you could argue The Witcher is, it fell off after the first season. I've never seen Bridgerton. People are laughing at Stranger Things now. I mean, too woke, man. Too woke. Not just that, but like just bad writing. Just bad writing with Stranger Things. It's weird. Game of Thrones. It suffered that Game of Thrones curse, where like you have this amazing show, it was really good, and then like boom, you didn't nail the ending. And man, there's a lot to be said for a good ending. With a show or with anything. Sometimes you can have kind of this mediocre movie or whatever, and if you nail the ending, it takes it up over the top. It becomes awesome. Or you can have this really good movie or show, and then you don't nail the ending, and people are like, "Ugh," it kind of relegates it to just mediocre. So, but anyways, think about think about flagship franchises for Warner Brothers: Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, the entire DC universe, Superman, Batman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Teen Titans. It goes on and on, man. DC is a storied comic book publishing company. You think about it, I mean, DC was around before Marvel was around. So, I mean, Superman and Batman alone is huge. Huge. Just huge, right? Prestige TV, Netflix, The Crown, Ozark, Wednesday, Warner Brothers, The Sopranos, like I mentioned, Succession, freaking Succession. What a cool show. I love that show. The Last of Us, The White Lotus, classic cinema, right? Primary original films, right? Roma, The Irishman. It's all right. It's all right. These are Netflix original classic cinema. Classic cinema for Warner Brothers. I mean, come on. Casablanca, The Wizard of Oz, Citizen Kane, The Matrix, Dune. Come on, man. Come on. So now you think about Dune. I mean, Dune. Now Netflix is gonna have, um, they're gonna have the new version of Dune, right? The new rendition of Dune, and now they're gonna have the original as well. Comedy staples, right? Netflix already got Seinfeld. They already got The Office licensed. Those are licensed. Um, and then comedy staples, Warner Brothers. You got like Friends, The Big Bang Theory, Ted Lasso. Um, I didn't know Ted Lasso was. I thought Ted Lasso was Apple TV. I don't think Ted Lasso is. I think that's a typo. I don't think that's right. I think Ted Lasso is Apple. I don't think that's right. Anyways, it doesn't matter. The point is, I mean, we got animation here. Arcane, Love Is Blind, nailed it for Netflix. Warner Brothers, Looney Tunes, Scooby Doo, Rick and Morty, MonsterVerse. It goes on and on and on. The point is, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of content. Okay. Key shifts: permanent home for favorites, iconic shows like Friends, Big Bang Theory, which have bounced between platforms, become permanent Netflix fixtures. Control of the Wizarding World, like that right there is like, to me, control of the Wizarding World, that becomes worth billions. That becomes worth billions right there. Netflix will own the entire Harry Potter film catalog and the high budget TV adaptation currently in production for a 2027 release. Wow. The DC power move, right? DC Studios Netflix finally secures a superhero universe to rival Disney's Marvel, including future projects under James Gunn. I don't know how good that's going to be, but I didn't think that Superman movie was that great, to be honest with you. That new Superman movie, it wasn't that good. It wasn't that good in my opinion. Just my opinion. Think about it what you want. It wasn't that good, but like it doesn't really matter. Proven Superman is a proven. He's the most famous superhero of all time. So it doesn't really matter if like the James Gunn Superman movie flopped or not. Okay, because you can always come back with another reboot. I mean, like these bad movies don't kill these legacy comic book superheroes. They don't. You can always reboot it and try again, and people will show up if they like the character. Like Spider Man. It's like Spider Man, Superman, Batman. You can flop it, and people might hate the movie, but they'll show up if you try again. They're gonna show up if you try again because they like the character. The characters are bigger than the movie. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. New competitive landscape. Warner Brothers under its wing. Netflix will hold a 33% share of the US market, roughly 3 times the size of Disney Plus, and 12 points higher than Amazon Prime Video. So, 12-point lead represents a massive structural advantage in market where most rivals like Disney Plus, Hulu, or Paramount Plus hover between 10% and 15%. A double-digit lead over the number 2 player cements Netflix as the utility service. The one platform most households consider essential. Not my household. Not my household. That's how I feel about Netflix. That's how much like I think damage they've done with their optics. Um, acquiring, uh, acquiring Warner Brothers properties is a huge move. I think it's a little bit of a defensive move, to be honest. I know that sounds weird. I think it's a little bit of a defensive move. I'll tell you about it, what I think. But yeah, I think it's a little bit of a defensive move. I know it looks like a monopoly from the outside. It looks like, yeah, they just want market dominance. They just want to like destroy everybody. But like, yeah, because like if you think about like, I remember when Walmart first moved in. This is kind of a side quest here. I remember when Walmart first moved into my city. I live in a city of 60,000 people. So it's a smaller city. When Walmart first moved into this city, um, so we had a Meijer Supercenter here, and it'd been here for a long time, since like the 90s. And when Walmart first moved in, they opened 2 supercenters, 2 Walmart supercenters, for a 60,000 person town. Now keep in mind, generally, if you look into this research, I think a Walmart supercenter is I think one Walmart supercenter is designed to support a town of like 80,000 people. A city of 80,000 people can be supported by one Walmart supercenter. Okay, so taking like a city of 60,000 and plopping down 2 Walmart supercenters, one on each side of the town, one on each side of the city, like it blew my mind. Like it was designed for one single purpose, right? That was a move that was designed for one purpose, and that is to run all the local businesses out of business, right? Because when they moved in, they basically said, we're going to price match everybody on everything. Everything that we sell, we will price match anybody who has a cheaper deal than us, right? And it worked. It was fairly effective. They didn't run Meijer out of town. Meijer is steadfast. They're like really, really smart. Meijer really, really smart in their business strategy. Very, very smart in their business strategy. They don't even consider Walmart a competitor of theirs. They won't even acknowledge them as a competitor. But anyways, I bring all that up. That's a whole nother story. Like I actually did a coaching call, a couple years ago about like the Meijer Walmart dichotomy and like how it applies to like small business, what you can take away from it and stuff. It was fun. It was a really fun call, but which that's something you can access inside. That's something you can access inside. Epic Conversions Monthly, by the way. But anyways, that doesn't matter. What I was gonna say was that was offensive. That was very offensive. That was an offensive move, right? But this Netflix acquisition, it looks offensive. It looks like, man, we want total market dominance. That's what it looks like. It looks like an offensive marketing, kind of like an offensive business strategy meant for like takeover, right? But I don't know if it is offensive. like, the more I look at it, the more I think, like, I was reading an article, a couple months ago, it was talking about how, like, YouTube is now, like, it's watched on television more than anywhere else. YouTube is watched on television more than anywhere else, more than on mobile devices, more than on tablets, more than on desktop computers. YouTube is watched on TV, home television, more than anywhere else. And like, and you see YouTube understands that. You see them starting the way they're starting to like advertise on Roku, the way they're starting to advertise and various the way they're starting to push certain kinds of content. I mean, you can just tell like they're leaning into that. Every TV, most TVs that you can buy these days are smart TVs, and they all come shipped with YouTube, pre-installed. Most phones that you buy, they come with YouTube pre-installed. Um, most tablets that you buy, YouTube. Everything's got YouTube on it already. So it's like, man, they're everywhere. YouTube is just everywhere. And I think that like, and if you looked at that hearing, if you watched that hearing that Sarantos was doing with the Senate to try to get regulations passed for this merger, he was basically saying, "Hey, look, man, we're not trying to start a monopoly. We're trying to compete with Disney and with YouTube. This is the only way we can compete. We're not big enough to compete with these people." That's what they were saying. That's what Netflix's position on it is, that they're trying to compete with YouTube and Disney, and they can't do it without this merger. That's what they're saying. Now, I mean, look, that could be a bunch of hokiness. That could be all BS. But Disney's big, okay, and YouTube is big. These companies are really big, and it's funny, I mean, it's funny. Like, think about this. Like, Netflix just recently put out Stranger Things season 5. It was the show finale, right? Final season of Stranger Things. Big event, big event. Such a big event that Netflix actually premiered the final episode of Stranger Things at the movie theater for people. People could actually go to the movie theater and watch the final episode of Stranger Things. Okay? So it was a big event. Pretty big. They released a documentary around Stranger Things season 5. I watched it. I know we watched it. So, it was a big deal. It was a big event, and I'm sure it got them some more subscribers. And it made them some money. Why? Because I know we resubscribed to Netflix for the Stranger Things finale. So like, that's cool. But you know who else profited off of the Netflix finale? You know who else profited off the final season of Stranger Things? YouTube. YouTube profited. Why? Why did YouTube profit? Because YouTube has this thing called creator content, right? It's just creator made content, right? YouTube doesn't like invest any money in content creation. They have creators, just regular people, putting all the work and all the effort into content, and they just give them 55% of the revenue they make. They just take 45% of the revenue to give the creator 55% of the ad revenue. But the point is, Netflix put out season 5 of Stranger Things, and like, literally, YouTube and Alphabet made a bunch of money off of it, because there was like billions of hours in watch time on YouTube dedicated to the final season of Stranger Things. So it's like, every time that Netflix puts out a new show that everybody wants to watch, guess what everybody does? They run to YouTube and they talk about it. They make reviews. They make reaction videos. They make watch through with me videos, whatever. They make all this content surrounding whatever content the Netflix puts out. So it's like, what's good for Netflix when they put something new out is also good for YouTube. Like, they're just like leeching off of their content, basically. It just seems like it's hard to compete with something like that. It's hard to compete with something like that, especially when you consider YouTube is free and it ships with pretty much every device that you buy, every phone that you buy, every desktop that you buy, every computer you buy, every tablet that you buy, every phone that you buy, every, whatever, I'm repeating myself. You get it. Every device that you buy seems like it comes prepackaged with YouTube on it. So, I mean, it's free to watch. And if you want to like start your own, like, you know, television show, you can start it for free on YouTube. So, like, I think about that, and I think about how, like, you know, Netflix is trying to compete with YouTube. And I just think, like, you know, I don't know that Netflix can compete with YouTube. Even with this acquisition, I don't know they can compete with YouTube. What I think would help them compete with YouTube is like having like a part of their platform dedicated to like independent content. If they allowed people to upload to their platform somehow, user created content, right? If they allowed that, but they only allowed it for like subscribers to Netflix, right? Then like what that would do is that would boost retention. People would stay with Netflix longer because they have something invested in it now. Um, and if they allowed people to comment, if you're on Netflix and you're watching a movie or something, and you could look at the comments while you were watching it if you wanted to, like if they created that kind of like interactivity. And Netflix had something like this a long time ago with like reviews. They had reviews on their website a long time ago, but you know, that was a long time ago. They took it away. They took it away because people didn't like the content they were putting out. And they thought it made them look bad. So that's what I think. That's why I think they took it away. They said, well, we're going for a more lean back watch experience and less of a like engaged interactive experience. But you know, now you're in front of the Senate saying you want to compete with YouTube. And the thing is, you're not gonna be able to compete with YouTube when YouTube is leeching off of all your content constantly, and they have that like lean back watch experience and an interactive like experience where you can comment on stuff and you can publish if you take a mind to. Hard to compete with something like that. So I do think that's interesting. I definitely think they'll be able to compete with Disney Plus with this acquisition, without a doubt. I mean, I think this acquisition is going to put Netflix, in my mind, like way more lucrative than Disney Plus. I hate Disney Plus, man. I've only been subscribed to Disney Plus, I think, like maybe once. I had it for a little while because everybody liked it. The kids liked it. I didn't like it. I thought it was horrible. Um, I think it's a shame what they did to Star Wars. You know, it's horrible. Just horrible. It's horrible. I'm sorry. It's just horrible. It's horrible. Um, but yeah, I think this acquisition puts Netflix, you know, miles above Disney Plus, and yeah, miles above Amazon Prime as well. Miles above Amazon Prime. Are you kidding me? Of course, miles above Amazon Prime. Um, yeah, it's the possibilities are endless. Just with that Harry Potter thing alone, the possibilities are endless. Think about it. Think about it. Just think about it. I mean, you got DC Publishing and you got Harry Potter. You know, it's crazy, crazy. I mean, like you could see like a future where like, you know, DC Comics starts publishing ongoing Harry Potter adventures. I mean, you could see it. You know, you can see it. Then you can see those adventures kind of becoming like spin-off movies, like in the way that Disney like ruined Star Wars with their spin-off movies. But maybe they could do it right. Maybe they'll do it better. Who knows? Who knows, man? Who knows? It is very interesting. You know, I think it's a defensive move. I think Netflix is losing ground to YouTube. I think they're worried about YouTube kind of like encroaching on their territory quite a bit. And I think I think they were speaking true at the Senate hearing when they were talking about YouTube being their biggest competitor. I do think that was true. They were speaking true on that. Um, Very interesting. It's been on my mind all week. I think it's very interesting. So the road to 82.7 billion, right? Phase one, the setup. Warner Brothers Discovery announced plan split into two companies, one for high growth studio streaming, one for linear network, CNN, Food Network, right? September 2025, rumors swirl as Paramount Skydance makes several unsolicited bids for Warner Brothers Discovery, which are initially rejected. October 2025, WBD officially begins a strategic review, essentially putting up a for sale sign, right? the strategic review, because things aren't going right. Um, Goes into phase two, the bidding war. November 2025, bidding intensifies. Paramount, Netflix, Comcast submit formal proposals. Netflix sweetens its offer by promising to keep the theatrical release window, a huge move to win over Hollywood creators, of course. December 5th, 2025, definitive agreement. Netflix WBD announces $82.7 billion deal, right? Most of us don't have that amount of money hiding under our bed anywhere. These guys are playing on a different level. There's no doubt. December 8th, just 3 days later, the hostile counter, right? Paramount Skydance launches a massive 108 billion hostile takeover bid directly to shareholders to try and kill the Netflix deal. You understand? This is some Succession level stuff right here. Hostile counter. $108 billion directly to shareholders to counter the Netflix deal to kill it, right? Because Paramount is feeling the pressure. They feel the heat. They do not want Netflix acquiring Warner Brothers under any way, shape, or form. But late December 2025, WBD's board rejects Paramount, citing their massive debt load as a high risk compared to Netflix's cleaner offer. Yeah, crazy. Can you imagine what some of those conversations were like in the back rooms? I mean, unbelievable. Phase three, hardball moves, January 20th, 2026. All cash pivot. Netflix removes stock from the equation, turning the deal into an all cash to speed up the process and provide value certainty to shareholders. Why? Why did they do that? Why do you think they did that? Because they didn't want Paramount to come back and like disrupt the deal. They didn't want them to like sabotage the arrangement. So they sweetened the deal and made it all cash, right? Cash is still king, right? Cash is still king. January 2026, financial disclosure reveals, oh man, February 2026. Sorry, I'm reading that wrong. Got ahead of myself. February 2026, February 3rd, just a couple days ago. Senate hearing, Ted Sarandos testifies before Senate Judiciary Committee, arguing the merger is necessary to compete with the market, right? To compete with YouTube and Disney. It's necessary to compete with YouTube and Disney. Do you guys believe them? I don't know. I mean, it is true. You're not going to compete. You could say it's necessary. You could say it's necessary to compete with YouTube. I don't know that YouTube is a direct competitor. I don't know. I mean, is it a direct competitor? I don't know if it's exactly a direct competitor. I mean, it feels like they're a little bit different. There's a difference between YouTube and Netflix. It feels like they're two different things. I can see the Disney thing. And Disney is bigger, right? Because Disney is more than just Disney Plus. Disney Plus is just a tiny little piece of what Disney is. Okay. That's like saying like Coca-Cola, the soft drink, is like the entire, Coca-Cola company. It's not. Like Coca-Cola owns like 500 companies, so it's the soft drink's just one little piece of Coca-Cola. It's kind of like Disney with Disney Plus. So I understand it's a reasonable argument to say they're competing with YouTube and Disney. It's just I don't know if YouTube's the same thing as Netflix. So, you know, that's why they're at the hearing, right? That's what they're hearing. That's why they're at the hearing, to figure out if, this is legit. I think Netflix is pretty confident it's going to go through. Phase four, what's next? Okay. The future. March, April, projected WBD shareholder vote on the Netflix deal. Okay. Mid 2026, planned spinoff of Discovery Global, right? That's Warner Brothers' new company they're forming, Discovery Global, so they can continue to do CNN, they can continue to do TNT, HD, all the other stuff they want to keep, right? Smaller, obviously smaller than Warner Brothers. It's going to be its own independent company. They're looking to do that in mid 2026, and then late 2026, early 2027, anticipated closing date pending final DOJ antitrust approval. So this deal's probably going to get done completely in its whole somewhere around the end of this year. That's what it's looking like. I think it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. Um, I, it is a deal that could potentially reshape entertainment, right? It really could. I mean, it does give them a lot of control over what people are going to be watching, you know? So, and not just what people are going to be watching, but also publishing. It's not just watching; it's the written word as well, you know. Just DC Comics alone is, you know, those properties, those IPs are nuts. It's very, very interesting. I might have like a, you know, my stance on it is it's a little defensive. I think it's a little defensive. I think it's a defensive. It looks like an offensive kind of like monopoly move, like a power play, but I think it's like an aggressive defense. That's what I think. I think it's an aggressive defense. That's what it feels like. That's what my gut's telling me. It's an aggressive defense. Um, there's a lot of lessons to be learned from this. I think I'm feeling a new issue of voicemail coming on. I want to talk about this to my voicemail people. Just like ways this relates to online business and you know lessons we can pull from this and things we can unpack from this deal. But it's very interesting. You guys have to let me know in the comment section what you think of this acquisition with Netflix and Warner Brothers. Um, it's man, if you read into it, it's almost like an episode right out of Succession. It's crazy. Not the biggest acquisition of all time. Okay, it's not the biggest acquisition of all time. There have been bigger acquisitions, but this is a big one, especially in the entertainment industry. This is a big one. So hey, we'll see how it goes. Do you think that Netflix will raise their prices once this acquisition goes through? Do you think that like once everything's all said and done, do you think their prices will raise? Do you think they'll go up? You got to wonder. I mean, it's like if they feel like their product is by far and away much better than their biggest competitor, and they would feel that way. They own a dominant portion of the market. I mean, it stands to reason they feel like they are like the thing said, like the overview said, they do feel like they're the utility brand and they can charge a higher price. And if you look at it, they're already charging a little bit of a higher price. You got to wonder. You got to wonder. You got to wonder how it's going to go. I wonder how it's going to go. I guess we'll find out. Anyways, I hope you guys are doing amazing. This is Friday for me. I'm not going to do any live streams on Saturday and Sunday. I'll be back Monday to catch up with you guys. If you enjoyed this talk, you think this is interesting, you can find more from me by joining my email list. I'm at, you know, epicconversions.com. And if you want to check out my one and only product, it is just go to epicconversions.com, scroll down the bottom. You'll see a link to Epic Conversions Monthly and you can check it out. I'm getting killed on my bonus giveaways. Okay, Epic Conversions Monthly is killing me on these bonus giveaways, man. I literally have $1,000 worth of product. No, listen, let me make sure you understand what I'm saying. Okay, when I say it's killing me on these bonus giveaways, I want you to understand what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm talking about proven products that have made me thousands of dollars that I took off the market to add as bonuses for this product. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about products that were on the market making me money, all right? Every day making me money. And I removed them from the market to make them exclusive bonuses for Epic Conversions Monthly. That is what I'm talking about. So do not think that I'm just, you know, blowing smoke, you know, when I say, oh, thousands of dollars in bonuses. No, literally thousands of dollars in bonuses. We're talking about products that I was charging $97 for, $100 for, $67 for, you know, different prices with these products, but they were all earning me money and they're all, you know, worth definitely more than what they're being positioned for now. But why am I doing it? I'm doing it because I believe in my product, Epic Conversions Monthly, and I want you to give it a shot. I want you to give it a shot. That's why I'm doing it, man. And I'm bribing you to give it a shot with all those bonuses. And of course, per my way of doing things, everything's downloadable, okay? Because when you buy something from me, I want you to be able to download it, okay? No matter what happens to me, whether tomorrow all my websites go off the market and like I'm out of business and blah, 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 all this bad stuff happens to me, whatever happens to me, You bought it from me, you purchased it, I want you to have access to it, okay? So anything you buy from me is downloadable, okay? You can download it, right? So that's how I look at it, that's how I do it. I believe in this, I believe that I made a live stream. I made a live stream the other day and it was called the inclusivity of deliverability. That's something I believe in. Okay. Now I don't always believe in being inclusive. Okay. I believe there's an argument to be had for exclusivity. But when it comes to delivering my products, I don't believe in exclusivity. Like I believe inclusivity is the way to go when it comes to delivery. Right. So like I don't really like the idea of delivering my products on a website that you constantly have to log in if you want to like man, I literally got an ebook last year. It was an ebook, okay? And they did the ebook in such a way where like you could not download the ebook, right? It was set up in its own little reading software on the website to where you had to read it right there on the website. You couldn't download the ebook. It was super annoying and I just didn't read it. You'll have to check that live stream out. It's called the inclusivity of delivery is what I called it. And yeah, I mean, I just believe in like when someone buys something from me, I want them to be able to download it. And you might say, well, Cam, you want people to download it. Well, what are you gonna do about piracy, man? What are you gonna do about the piracy? You know? Well, I talk about it on that inclusivity of delivery live stream. But the way I look at it is with the piracy thing, I've run the gambit on that piracy thing, man. Back in 2017, 2018, I was all concerned about privacy, doing these DCMA notices on everybody and stuff like that. And I realized that like I could spend a lot of my energy, like half my day, trying to put out fires with piracy. And what I realize is that's a really stupid use of my time. Um, for me, I am more focused on the people who are interested in spending money with me. I'm more interested on the people who want to invest in what I do. Those are the people I want to help. I'm not going to worry about all this piracy nonsense. It's like that is not that's not really representative of a large portion of the market anyway. In my experience, a lot of people aren't really interested in stealing from me. A lot of people are interested in investing in something if they think it'll help them. So, like for me, a long time ago, I just started focusing my time and energy on the people I'm trying to help. And when it comes to the people I'm trying to help, what I find that's better for them, it's more convenient for them, is if I give them the ability to download stuff. So that way they can have it whenever they need it in whatever format they need it. So that's what I have found. So that's what works for me. That's not everyone's opinion, of course. I know you, like me, we've all bought in plenty of products and we've had many different experiences with that. But yeah, anyways, look, I just wanted to talk to you guys about this Netflix acquisition. I was thinking about it and it's so interesting to me. It's such a crazy acquisition, you know? It's hard for me to like I mean, it's hard for me to like wrap my mind around The Sopranos being on Netflix. Like that's crazy. That is just crazy to me. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm interested. I'm not gonna say I'm excited. Okay, I'm interested. What does it mean for Batman? You know, what does it mean for Batman? You gotta wonder. You know, you gotta wonder. What does it mean for Batman? What does it mean for Superman? I mean, I've seen trailers of this new Supergirl movie. It's supposed to be coming out. I mean, Lobo looks pretty cool in that movie, but I just didn't care for Superman, so I don't know. And then Netflix has a horrible, horrible, horrible history with me, man. Their woke optics drive me crazy. So I would imagine they would probably. Here's what I'm going to imagine. I would imagine Netflix is going to proceed to dismantle every good Warner Brothers like movie property, every good Warner Brothers IP. They're going to proceed to dismantle it and ruin it. Probably that's probably what's going to happen. But who knows? Who knows, man? We'll see. Think about all those 80s movies that came out under Warner Brothers. I mean, crazy, just crazy. So we'll see what happens. That's all I got. Hope you guys are doing amazing. Have a great weekend. Keep her between the ditches, and I'll see you on Monday. Peace now.